Hello friends, welcome to ADO.NET tutorial. In the last video, we talked about the relationship in SQL Server as well as how to establish that in the front end. So now we will get more insight about the data relation object in this video. We know that dataset can hold multiple data tables, right? For example, we can create data tables for employees, so that's one data table, and publisher, that's second data table. So both these data tables can be assembled in a single data set, right? So that's what we are stating here. A data set can hold multiple data tables, and in this example we are going to create data table employee and publisher, and we will keep them in the data set. The data relation object can hold a relation between these two data tables, because in the backend SQL Server we saw that employee and publisher table are related based on the publisher ID. The publisher ID is primary key in the publisher table, and employees table also has the publisher ID that acts as a foreign key. That means the column in employee table will refer to the publisher entity in the or publisher row entry in the publisher table. So this is our SQL Server. So we know that in the backend these two tables are related, and we can navigate between the records between publisher and employee using the pub_id column that exists on both the tables. So in the front end ADO.NET, you can see a dataset object, right? And this dataset contains two tables. Data table 1 and data table 2. But there will not be any relation between these two data tables, and that can be achieved using the data relation object. So if you see, these two tables are linked based on the data relation, right? Data relation knows there is a table employee and there is a table data table publisher, and these two tables are linked using the data relation object. Suppose if we pick a record here in the publisher table, using the data relation object we can get all the related table, all the related rows in the employee table. So this is publisher 1 and employee 1, 2, 3, 4 who works for this publication, and this traversal is done using the data relation object. And the data set will be filled using the data adapter, and we know that we learned about that multiple times in our previous videos, right? Using data adapter we will fill the data table, and after filling the table we will create a data relation object and link these two tables. Using data relation object we can achieve the following task. So let's state that we have data relation. We can perform filtering of related records which is bound on the Windows form. So we know that there is a data table employee and publisher, and in our Windows form you may have multiple grid or other controls. For now, let's talk about the grid controls. And one is linked to employee and another grid is linked to publisher. And now you can perform filtering of related records which is bound on the Windows form. Say for example, you can pick a specific publisher record and display all the employee who works for that specific publisher, right? So in backend, in front end, what happens? A record is picked, we will be using the data relation, or this data relation will take care of the currently selected record and it displays all the relevant record in the emp grid, right? These two tables linked to the data grid view, but these two tables are internally linked in ADO.NET via the data relation, so you can perform the filtering. Traversal can be done between parent and child of data relation. So traversal in the sense, suppose if you have a record in the foreign key table, say for example, if you have a record in the employee table, you can say this employee works for which specific publication using the data relation. So both kind of traversal is possible. From publisher table, you can travel back to employee and pick all the employees. Or if you have employee, you can do the navigation and tell the employee works for this specific publication. We can also derive expression-based columns using the parent-child relationship. So, say for example, here if we take this publisher employee, we can display the publisher name and how many employee works for that publisher, right? Publisher A, 10 employee, publisher B, 22 employees. And here if you see, this count of employee is the one that we can form as a expression. So that's also possible based on the data relation. And here you can even form a completely new data table DT3, and you can make use of the relationship object and create expression based columns, and you can create even new data table, or you can even extend the existing data table to have more columns that contains the derived expression. All this stuff we will see in this sub-series. There is no demo in here. Thank you for watching. Bye.